Chairman, esteemed members of the committee. As you all know, my name is Representative Christy Perry, and I stand here on behalf of District 13. As you also may know, I am a woman of tradition, a mother of 3, a gun owner, and to be honest, I am a damn proud Republican. Yet, I stand here today, arm in arm with Representative Clark, because as I stated, any piece of legislation that decreases taxes and increases educational opportunities for our youth deserves to be heard. So today I stand for my constituents who are fearful of our school district's rising dropout rates. Studies show that 20% of Idaho's 9th graders will drop out of school by their senior year. Meanwhile, studies show that pre-kindergarten education significantly increases the likelihood of a student to acquire a high school diploma or their GED. Pre-K programs have also been found to heighten proficiency rates in math and reading. Now, legislators, this data should be of incredible interest to all of you, especially when considering that our great state is currently ranked 48th in the nation when it comes to education. Aside from this bill's educational value, when I chose to co-sponsor this bill, I was largely drawn to its economic advantages. It is important to be cognizant of the inextricable connection between a lack of education and crime rates. The cost of corrections in Idaho is mind-blowing. And Ada County Sheriff Gary Rainey asserts that pre-K education could decrease crime rates by 20%. Now this is important because from 2007 to 2008, 42% of Idaho's inmates did not receive a GED. Meanwhile, Idaho is spending $20,000 per year per inmate. Now this number is three times the amount of tax dollars that Idaho spends per year per student on education. So I say that we need to re-examine our priorities. Well, I know that many of you on the committee are likely thinking, why pre-K? Why should tax dollars be spent on pre-kindergarten education? And my answer is simple. Pay now, or you will pay later. This bill would provide a voluntary program with proven success. According to HighScope Perry, a nonprofit independent education research foundation, students who attend preschool are more likely not only to attain a high school diploma, but to be employed, to own a home, and to have a savings account. HighScope Perry also reports that students who have access to pre-K education have a higher median annual income and are less likely to repeat courses or require special education. So indeed, pre-kindergarten education has been recognized as a community investment. With the permission of the chair, I would actually like to provide a chart on the costs in comparison to the benefits that will be yielded by passing this legislation.
Yes, of course, thank you. Ooh, good job.
Now, what you will be seeing in this chart is that ultimately there's a bar recognizing the cost in comparison to the overall growth. You'll see it broken down in comparison to education costs, welfare, and then the largest, of course, being crime and corrections in that area. Now, I would like to also highlight that I know that some of the individuals on the committee may be concerned about the notion of this being, outside the boundaries of government. And I think that that's really important to look first to the voluntary aspect of this so that we can gain a greater sense of what we can do to improve education. And that's why, again, we're looking primarily to a pilot study program. would like to point out that there have been a variety of conservative states that have enacted similar legislation: Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia, Michigan. And so while I do support the notion that we need to look to local data for specifically citizens of Idaho, the only way we can do that is through this pilot program. Thus, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I urge you to stand up for your constituents who want to see a decrease in welfare spending. Stand up for your constituent who wants to see a decrease in juvenile and correction spending. Stand up for your constituent who wants to increase the stability of Idaho's economy. The rate of return for public investment is simply too great to ignore. And as a final note, Mr. Chairman, in regards to your last concern, I would like to say that as a co-sponsor and speaking with the sponsor of the bill, we would be willing to look towards an amendment of this bill if you and the committee think that that would give it a greater chance, because we are that passionate about education of our youth and possible economic stability. And with that, I yield for questions.
I appreciate your willingness to compromise, Representative Perry.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Representative Perry.
Representative Perry, will you yield?
Yes, Chairman, Representative Rubel.
Representative Perry, as you self-proclaimed yourself as being a woman of tradition, can you please address the issue of kindergarten preparedness being left in the home?
Well, again, yes, Mr. Chairman, Representative Rubel, I would say that ultimately, again, this is a voluntary program, meaning that, again, my constituents who are interested in homeschooling, they still have that opportunity. Similarly, it still provides others the opportunity to keep education within the home.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Perry. Are there any other questions from the committee?
I have a question, Chairman. Would Representative Perry yield to the question?
Will you yield?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, Representative Perry, as a fiscally conservative representative from Idaho Falls, I was wondering if you could possibly expand on possible financial implications that would come from the implication of this program, specifically in regards to special education?
Mr. Chairman, Representative Harmon, in regards to special education, may I ask for clarification, Mr. Chairman?
You may. A follow-up, Representative Harmon?
Mr. Chairman, Representative Perry, I have come across some data as I've been studying the data for this bill, and I noticed that in some of it, it said that by possibly having this preschool program, it discusses how children would better be prepared for kindergarten or possibly not be misplaced in a special education program. So I was just wondering if you had anything to add to that.
Mr. Chairman, Representative Harmon, I would say that that is absolutely the case, and again, why I stand in firm support of this bill, because it actually helps us in costs as far as education goes in the long run. And I would like to say that, yes, as far as I stated, your students are less likely to repeat courses if they have pre-K education, and they are states that have enacted similar legislation spend significantly less on special education. And I'm sure that you could also, Beth Oppenheimer and our other representatives today would be more than willing to further address that.
Thank you, Representative Perry. Do we have any other questions from the committee for the representative? All right, seeing no further questions. Thank you.